Okay.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order. It is April 12th, 7:03 p.m. We can start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kelly, would you mind taking roll?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry, I just don't have my roster in front of me. Hold on really quick.
Okay.
I usually have that up. I don't want to miss anybody. Just one moment here. Oh, we got Sean Frederick joining us, so that's good. Let me pull this up while he's joining. Okay, Commissioner Hilt.
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry. Commissioner Tadgett. Commissioner Hayden. Samara, are you there?
Here.
Okay. Commissioner Pincus.
Here.
Commissioner McLarnon.
Here.
Commissioner McCurdy.
Here.
Commissioner Welch.
Here.
Commissioner Frederick.
Here.
Commissioner Rasmussen.
Here.
Commissioner Ives.
Here.
Okay. So motion to excuse absent members, Daughtry and Tadgett.
So moved.
All right, all in favor? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, we'll open it up to public comment if there's any.
I have nobody in the waiting room and nobody besides what's on the screen.
Got it. Okay. Motion to approve the last month's March meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Chair, did we have a second on that? I didn't hear. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'll second.
Okay, thanks.
Now, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, motion passed. Okay. Okay, discussion item 1, Youth Advisory Council. Is that something Kim had been working with? Okay. Should we move that one for now? And
Yeah, unless Commissioner Frederick has
okay.
an update, I'm not sure.
I promise I'm not trying to scarf down my dinner at the same time. I actually don't recall the exact context that Councilmember Daughtry wanted to discuss in terms of the youth council, but I can share that we have been working with the youth council. They meet typically once a week. It's been going really good. A great, energetic group of youth. They really kind of taken forming this entity on their own and kind of setting up their rules and agendas. So I think we were looking at some options. I know that we had talked about the opportunity to potentially provide some level of funding support from the foundation to the youth council, but the exact cause escapes me at the moment. Hopefully, and I'll try to reach out to Councilmember Daughtry specifically, but it was a topic he was going to bring forward. That's really all I could share at this time. It's a really good group, and there's probably some opportunity there for us to work with that group as they really start to form and perform. They have some good goals, and there's probably more than one nexus where we can find an opportunity to work together.
Question, is this youth group going to interface somehow with the veterans of the community, or was this for us to help them?
I believe initially it was for us to help them. One, they're still evaluating whether or not they want to be an independent group, which I think in general they've kind of settled on, but there's also the opportunity for us to kind of share the growing pains of becoming or creating an independent council or creating a council in general. So there's kind of some shared opportunities there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody have anything to add or any follow-up questions? Okay, we'll move on to number 2, scholarships for students, with an update from Commissioner Welch.
So we kind of brought this subject up a little late for this year, but I did reach out to Lake Stevens Education Foundation, their scholarship contact, Christine Feister, I believe it's Feister, and she finally sent me some information back, sent me the scholarship paperwork, which Kelly did forward on, sorry. She forwarded on, so all of you guys should have it in your email. The other example she gave me, actually, Carmen, was of your PCS real estate, because it is specific to a student whose parent is active military or veteran. Okay. So I did get that example also. We're kind of way ahead of the game for next year, but I figure it's something maybe to keep on our radar to make sure that it does get done before the scholarship season next year.
Perfect.
And just for clarification, I think we said this is really going to be a foundation activity though, right? Not a commission activity?
True, yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, next coffee clutch.
Has anyone heard, I know that that's Kim's thing for the most part, but has anyone heard about the one for this month? I've not even seen like a notice or any talk about the one for this month.
I haven't seen or heard anything. I actually just reached out to Kim, so we'll see if he responds.
Okay.
Yeah, are those going to be on the same day of the month, like the third Wednesday or whatever, every month, or how is that gonna?
Yeah, they were the third Saturday was the plan, but you know, maybe I'm not sure if that's being revisited or not.
Yeah, the next one's supposed to be this coming Saturday.
Is that the 17th?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're still doing them completely virtual, no limited in the mill. What am I trying to say? Meetings in the mill, since we're at 50% capacity for places now. Do you think there's a benefit to opening it up that way, or still too early?
Oh, I don't know if you heard me, but 3 counties have been shut back to level phase 2 today, because cases are rising. So
A little premature.
Okay.
We do have 2 public health officials on the meeting.
True.
You could weigh in.
I'm going to refer to Sean on this one.
Sorry to throw you all under the bus. I had to do it. I couldn't pass up that opportunity.
Sean gets it at council too, so he's used to it.
So is it too early? I think considering the population that we are most likely to capture with the coffee clutch, It is probably too early this month. I would revisit for next month, go one more month virtual,
Okay.
or cancel if we're not able to get it advertised very quickly. The cases are rising. We're at 145 cases per 100,000. The turnaround point for phase 2 is 200 cases per 100,000. 6 weeks ago, we were at 72 cases per 100,000 and falling. So it can turn around pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, so let's keep it virtual. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Finally. I finally got in. Jeez.
Did you wait long, Kim? I'm sorry.
No,
You
I
just
didn't.
got
I've been
there.
having a hard time getting it to connect for some reason.
Oh, okay. Just saw you, Papa.
Should we bring the coffee clutch back up now?
Yeah, let's keep going on Coffee Clutch.
Coffee clutch. Oh, yeah. Coffee clutch.
So we're going to keep it virtual for another month and then maybe reevaluate. So our next one should be this Saturday.
Okay, then I'll get a virtual thing out to everybody and get it on Facebook, etc.
Can we make sure that the someone's there to help people in from the waiting room if we have a waiting room?
Yeah, but we haven't done it that way yet because I was going to get with Kelly and find out how to do it as a, what do you call it, Kelly?
Yeah, webinar.
Is that
Yeah.
is it just when I set it up?
Well, yeah, you don't have a webinar license. It's an additional cost.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, which, we bought for the council meetings and stuff. But I can spend just a few minutes with you, Kim, before Saturday and show you how to let people in from the waiting room. It's really easy.
Well, I know how to let them in from a waiting room. That's
Oh,
not
okay.
a problem. But if we're not in a webinar form, there's no waiting room.
Isn't there a way to turn the waiting room off as an option in Zoom? So as soon as people log in, they just automatically are in the room?
Oh,
Not
it could be.
Well, not anymore. Zoom has security now. So it's either you're going to require someone to have a passcode or a waiting room. That's the only two options.
All right. Well, I'll look into the waiting room option and just put it out, and then people go directly. Oh, I think I remember a setting that said go into the waiting room. Yeah, I remember that now. Send them to the
in
waiting
fact,
room, and then
Kim, the webinar feature may not be the best actually for this kind of thing because it's a lot of the people are in listening mode only, and you want them to participate and talk.
oh yeah,
So,
okay.
and it actually would be more work for you to do it that way as I'm thinking about it. So a regular meeting, I think, is fine, and just let them in as they come in the waiting room. And if for some reason you have somebody who does something not nice in your meeting or tries to take over, I'll show you how to remove them.
Well, I'm sure a bunch of veterans can get rid of these
I know.
guys.
And I meant more of a hacker, not an actual person who wants to.
Hi, Kurt.
Hi, Kim.
Haven't seen you in a while, man.
It was just 1 month, but yeah, miss you too. Miss all y'all.
Okay, Kim, can I put you on the spot for a second?
Sure, why not?
Youth Council update. Do you have anything to add or share on that?
Oh, the Youth Advisory Council.
Yeah.
They are going great guns. They've already got most of their people. They've already done their president, vice president, secretary, and all that. They are going to be autonomous from the city council. They chose to do that, and we gave them, Sean and I and Steve gave them lots of reasons why they might want to be autonomous and some reasons why they might want to be attached to the city council, and they chose to go away from the city council, thinking that they could do more things without having to be under the public records request type stuff and Open Public Meetings Act and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to be autonomous. We're trying to find them an advisor from the school district because we do need an adult advisor, and we're not sure that myself and Sean and Steve actually meet that requirement because most of us aren't adults yet. So Um, at least I'm not. The I got a smile out of Sean. That's good. Anyway, we feel that maybe that I don't think that all of us are going to be involved with them all the time. We have been recently getting them set up and things. So they've got some good things they want to do. They've already taken on looking at different projects. They are doing a round robin with two different people each week coming to a council meeting. They are now looking up the agendas so they can be attuned in what's going to come on. They've been well versed in how to make comments and when to make comments if they think they need to make them. So I think they're going to do great. I can't wait to see what they do. So, and I look forward also to them maybe partnering with us as a Veterans Commission and doing some things, or even the Veterans Foundation and doing some things. So we're leading them in that direction also. They are also looking at being part of other youth advisory councils in the area, partnering with them to do different things. So it's pretty cool. They picked right up on a lot of that stuff. They're just really going at it. We have a meeting, I think, on this Thursday, so I think. Which I'm probably supposed to set up a Zoom meeting for them.
I believe you're correct.
6 o'clock. I think it's at 6 o'clock on Thursday. Yep. So, anything else? Any other questions? Sean, did I handle that okay?
You did. The only thing I might add is, and you haven't had a chance to talk to them about it yet, so maybe it's too early. Transportation Policy Board.
Oh, Transportation Policy Board. Oh, yeah. Boy, lots of things happening there. Sean is on the Transportation Policy Board due to his health department seat, I guess. Are you a voting member?
No, we're not non-voting.
You're non-voting. I'm on the Transportation Policy Board for PSRC as the Community Transit Chair for PSRC Board. So I represent Community Transit there. There is a lot of things happening. They are right now looking at the contingency list for projects. There's always a lot of projects that go in for transportation. The PSRC gets federal dollars and has to put those out into from different buckets into different types of programs. And all the cities, the county can get in there and get that money for different, and also community transit and Pierce Transit and all those guys, transit agencies. So they can go after those monies as grants. So the way it works is we all put in our requests, they get rated, they get picked by a committee, they go through the PSRC Transportation Board, and then they go to the Executive Board, and then they get done. So the problem is sometimes those projects don't really ever take off or get completed or even get done with planning in time. They only have, I think, 2 years to use the money. So when that happens, the money goes back. And so then because there's so many projects and they can only fund so many of them, there's what's called the contingency list, and the contingency list is rank ordered. And so when they go back to the contingency list like they're doing right now, they look at that rank order and try to fund those projects. So it just continues to go. And then when we go for the next round at the end of this year, we'll go for another biennium for new grant money, which we're hearing is going to be a lot because of the Biden administration doing their trillions of dollars of public works stuff. So hopefully things are going to run. We're hoping to get a lot of money for the trestle and those kinds of things out of that. We already have the trestle is in the new transportation for Olympia for the transportation projects there. The House has $839 million in there for it, and the Senate has $1.8 billion in there for the trestle. So now it's going back and forth, and they're trying to figure out how much they're really going to put into this package that they're going to come out with by the end of this session. So at least we'll have enough money to do the study and getting some of the design done. If we get, Senator Hobbs has asked for 1.8 billion, it looks like we'll be able to just get the design going and get it built. So that's what he's after. Yeah. We've been working on that for a long time, so.
Oh, we have. How many phone calls and meetings have we gone to?
Oh, just way too many. So, the Highway 9204 project, just to keep you up to date on what's going on there. This summer, they're going to be working on the 4th Street project for that. And it's basically if you're coming north on Highway 9 and you get past Market Street, there's 4th is a right out only right now. It will be put into a right in and right out only to 4th Street. And that's doing it this year because then the following year, we're going to actually be doing the 2 roundabouts on Highway 9. And so having that right in and right out on 4th is going to be helpful for traffic mitigation when we're trying to take care of the problems we're going to have when traffic is down. So that's going to get done this year. Governor Inslee released the money for it for us and got our project back on track. So everything's going good on that. So as far as transportation goes, there we are. Still trying to figure out what's going to go with the roundabout on Highway 9 and 20th Street Southeast, actually 24th Street, the new 24th Street. We don't know yet. There's a little bit of a holdup on that, which also holds up Costco. So that's being worked by the city. We have some money requested from the legislature on that right now. If that goes through, everything will be fine.
All right, cool. Okay, anything else on, where are we at? Coffee Klatch? I think we're good.
Yeah, I'll get that advertised.
Okay. Veterans Foundation updates.
No update. I do need to get these checks to Kim so they can get deposited. Everything is in place. Address has been updated. It's really just an issue of recruiting for the board members for the Veterans Foundation and really kind of moving this forward and getting it done. All of the groundwork is in place, has been for quite some time. So.
Yeah, I think that COVID's kind of holding us back on this maybe. I mean, we could be advertising it and getting the Facebook page out there better and doing those kinds of things, getting the website actually up and running. I mean, it's basically done. There's a few tweaks left to that and we can get that online. But at the same time, it's, you know, we're all busy and COVID has really kind of sapped us. It's a convenient excuse anyway.
It is difficult to recruit board members online. You know, we just went through this with the health district recruiting a board for the Sound Foundation for Public Health, and it's a challenge to really be able to recruit and interview virtually potential board members, and then for those board members to have resources to actually be able to move forward with the work that they'll have to do. They would want to be able to work through a business plan and really start the work in earnest of how does this foundation make money. So all of that's challenging in this environment.
If we have something that we think would be a good share on the foundation website, who should that be sent to? Like there was, when was it? I don't remember. Was it this last week? It was the National Vietnam War Veterans Day, things like that. Is that stuff that people would like to have shared on that, or who could we send that to make that decision?
I would think that on the foundation right now, it's just Sean, myself, and Marcus, I think. No, there's one more. Who else is on there? Samara? Are you on there?
I always get forgotten.
Huh?
Always get forgotten.
No,
Never.
I'm not forgetting. It's just my gray hair. Oh, wait, what hair? So there's 4 of us on the foundation right now, which is not a full board, but I would think that if there's information for those kinds of things out there, we just need to share it. I don't think we need to make decisions about it. If it has to do with veterans affairs of any kind, we should be sharing it. So on the front page of the foundation website, we could have, on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, those kinds of events that are happening, or, it's fatigue month or whatever it is, that kind of thing.
Or,
So really just, if you come up with something you think is worthy, send it to me and we'll get it on there.
okay, Kim, do you prefer that more email or Facebook? Because I sent it through Messenger, but I don't think I've seen it. So
Yeah, I need to go, I need people to send me emails.
Okay.
I just do not have time for Facebook.
Okay, city personal.
Personal would be better.
Okay.
Kim Daughtry at Comcast.net.
Thanks.
Samara and Kevin both do Facebook. And they both have administrator rights on the Veterans Foundation page.
That is true.
Yeah, send it to them too, then, and we'll get it on there. I don't think, I have administrative rights too, but I don't do Facebook very often. So, I mean, I even have a business Facebook account, and I just found out a couple of weeks ago somebody had been trying to get a hold of me for business, and it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't do this.
Maybe I'll hit up the Facebook people then.
Yeah, so Deb, it's easy. Like, I'm probably the one that has the most time, right? These other guys are pretty busy right now. So if you want it on Facebook, as Sean said, I have admin rights and can post it there on the Veterans Facebook page. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Look for my friend request.
Okay. I don't actually do Facebook, so send me an email too. But I'll go on there to post.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Commission report to City Council.
I added this because I know Commissioner Daughtry had talked about this in the last meeting, not wanting to lose sight of doing this. So I wasn't sure if this was going to be an agenda item or not, or maybe we're not ready to talk about it, but I just didn't want to forget.
What I was going to suggest is, since we've not done this before, maybe we can see what some, best in class commission has done and just borrow their template. And I mean, I think from what Kim described before, it's kind of like a log of what we've been doing to just update the council, and that would be pretty easy to pull together. Just be nice to have a format we could copy, or at least for me, if I'm going to pull anything together, I'd want it cheap.
Okay.
Generally speaking, I think that the staff puts that together. Am I not right on that, Kelly?
No, I think you're right. It's usually just a staff report that comes to council. Are you guys thinking of having a joint meeting with them or just reporting?
I think to begin with, and Sean and Kurt actually, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think we ought to start out with just a report that goes into the staff report for one of the council meetings, and just start that way. But I think that as often as we have one with the Parks Board and the Planning Commission, which I think is once a year, we at least ought to have a joint meeting once a year.
Yeah, and so for some of these other boards, they, talk with city council kind of about what the work is going to be for the work program is going to be for the next coming year, and get some input and comments. And
so that's going to be reverse for us, everybody, reverse for us to do this than it is for the Planning Commission or the Parks Board. The Parks Board and the Planning Commission are actually driven to a work program by the staff because they know what's coming up and what has to go on, et cetera, to get things accomplished in the year. For us, there isn't anything for them to tell us to accomplish. There isn't anything that's going to be time sensitive for the city to accomplish. So really it's up to us, I think, in this particular case, to turn it around and say, this is what we want to accomplish and we want your blessing.
And Kim, does it make sense to tie that to sort of budget planning cycle, or is there no calendar part of the year that makes a difference?
Generally, it happens at the beginning of the year, which would be budget planning, but I don't think that actually matters in our case. I think we ought to bring them up to date on what we want to do for the year, what our goals are, and we ought to probably go ahead and slide in information about what the foundation is doing at the same time, because the foundation is kind of set up to work with us and for us. So we would include what the foundation is doing. That's just my take on what we ought to do. What do you think, Sean?
I I think that works. It's a bit odd it took us this long to get to that realization, but I think we do have to increase our interaction with the city council, and I think having an opportunity to better organize our activities in a calendar format as a work plan is definitely a way for us to be able to move forward, probably in a more organized manner.
And maybe where I was asking that question about was maybe, we're the first one, we can't line it up, right? So we do it as soon as we can, but it sounds like what you're saying is it would be helpful if we did this more towards the beginning of the year going forward.
Well, I mean, we can plan our year. We can have a start date for planning our year anytime we want. In reality, everybody else, the work plan flows from basically January through.
Right.
If we decided, because we're behind the 8 ball on that, then we can say that, hey, July 1st starts our work plan, and we just tell them that's what we're doing, because they're certainly not giving us anything to do.
Right, but I mean, there may be a time that we want money. It would be nice to bring our request forward when they're not going to say, oh yeah, if you were only 4 months earlier, we could have considered this, right? That's where I was heading.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah, and and really we want the money to come from the foundation. In reality, we don't really want to be tapping the city for money for our commission. However, we could make requests, and it would be better to do it in October.
Got it.
Because that's when they're running. That's when they're actually doing the budget. So we need to have a report to them on what we're going to do with that money, why we need it, et cetera, and sell that to them. So the Planning Commission and the Parks Board, they don't get any money either. The only thing they get is staff support. That's, so it's not like they're doing any outreach that they're doing with the community is they're doing it in conjunction with the city during like Aquafest and those kinds of things, or open houses and that kind of thing. So really that's all they're doing. We're a little bit of a different animal. I understand that, because, we're probably going to be running other types of events and do need money for that. But I would hope really that the foundation helps us do that, because that was the idea of the foundation. Part of the idea of the foundation. But I think, what we could do right now is we could set our agenda for the year, or, we can start any month we want, and just at least make a report that, hey, this is what we plan on doing by January 1st or whatever. And that starts it. And then we can, from January 1st on, and hopefully get a meeting in maybe March, April, May every year as our sit down with the council, if we actually deem it necessary. On a side note, does everybody know about the VOA and what they're doing with the community resource center? Anybody heard about that yet?
Oh, I haven't.
Okay, so you remember when we first got started as a commission, we were supposed to be able to get basically a family center place to go and have office hours and things like that. And we were going to do that in conjunction with the food bank. And the food bank thing kind of fell through for a while because of funding. And the actual reason that fell through is because they couldn't get the money to be able to pay prevailing wage when they're building the building. So that was holding them back, because that was going to be another 30% cost on the building. Brett Gailey and myself met with the president of the VOA, and it just basically tossed out, it was just a regular meeting, and we tossed out the idea of, hey, how come the VOA can't run the family center, which they're calling a community resource center? And he said, we could, that's exactly what we do. And he goes, we need a building. We said that we need a building, and this is what we think you ought to do. You ought to help fund the food bank building and move into those offices that we had planned. So that's happening. Just in a nutshell, that's happening. We are going to have office hours there just as anybody else could. So it's still all planned to do that. So everything that we had talked about for 2 years is still possible. We're not dropping that. So we want, we get our resource officer in there, those kinds of things. So that's all happening. So with that, those are the kinds of things we can discuss with the council and tell them. I mean, they're going to know anyway because of some of the conversations we have at the council level. But at the same time, we ought to have the Veterans Commission going in and reiterating that and putting our emphasis on what we need to have accomplished there, and go from there. So, anybody has any ideas about what we want? I mean, we have our projects where we're trying to get recognizing businesses that are veteran owned or veteran friendly. We ought to bring that up, and that's something that's pretty simple for us to do. You walk into a business and find out, or whatever other resources we can use. I'm already getting things from the chamber on that because that's one of the questions that we ask at the chamber now because I've inserted that into our process. So we need to get that going again, and then we
And
can
that could potentially be an ask for the planning department for business permits,
that's true.
right?
We could do it that way too.
That could be a partnership with the city.
Right. Anyway, we can get the information is going to be good, but we need to act on it and get out there and get these certificates done and talk to them. I mean, what about Meatheads? Is Meatheads, brand new? They're going to be opening pretty soon. Are they veteran owned or not? I don't know that. I haven't been there yet, but I noticed they're out there, finishing up their landscaping and stuff like that. So they're going to have a soft opening in May now, I think. So those are the kinds of things we need to be doing. It's that we can report to the council. You guys let me talk way too much.
It's the lilt in your voice.
Well, we just realized that we just got past, National Submariner Day, and we just wanted you to have your moment. So we just kind of let you run with it.
It was a great day too. I tell you what, I was out watching the submarine races. It was pretty cool.
Okay, let's see. Veteran Service Center. We kind of touched on this, but
So hold it. Can I call time before
sure.
we move on? Like, let's wrap this up with something actionable. Like, what are we going to do about this report? Because we're all great at having this brainstorming stuff that the next month no one remembers what the hell we said. Sorry, I forgot we're recording there for a second.
So if fiscal year is going to start October, then by August or September, should we have a plan for the next calendar year in place of things that we are going to do that we need funds for? Is that a worthwhile goal date? Or is that maybe not something that's necessarily beneficial to spend time putting that together? Because really that's necessary if we need funding, but if we don't need funding.
Well, the first thing I think we need to do is come up with what is our work plan. And out of that, maybe something for funding is going to come up.
Okay.
So, I mean, really, answer the question, what do we do? What's our purpose? If we can answer that question and figure out, okay, that's our purpose. Now, what are we going to do with it? And what are we going to accomplish in a year? There you go. You start laying out that track. And somebody's going to come up with an idea. Say, wouldn't it be great if we do this? Well, that's going to take some money and we're going to ask the city for the help. Okay, great. There we go. Here's our budget request.
And I think we did this a couple months ago, right? Didn't we zero it down to coffee klatch, career fair?
Well, you're talking about events, but what else can we be doing? And an event is a great thing, but what do we accomplish by doing an event besides getting our name out there, which is what the events are supposed to accomplish. But, you know, in my way of thinking is it's not our purpose to hold events. Kurt, what's our purpose, man? You started us.
Oh, our purpose is very broad, Kim.
Yeah, there's a three-legged stool, right?
Three-legged stool, yeah. You know, really what it comes down to is the way to engage it was an avenue for the veterans of our community to engage.
So to me, that sounds like events are exactly what we should be doing.
So events are,
Yeah.
yeah. And we made, we added up to 3 council members, so it would have some gravitas, to use that word, within the city. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Carmen. It's really up to the commission to do what they want to do. And if events are where the commission feels they need to be at, then that's what we need to be doing. And if it's not, then commission finds something else to do.
So the question, I mean, the answer to that then is, okay, we have events, but what's the purpose of having the event besides us standing there under a tent and handing out freebies or whatever?
Yeah, but that's not sorry to jump in, but we stopped that idea, right? And we focused on 2 events, getting a coffee klatch to socialize, a place for veterans to socialize on a regular basis, and a career fair to try to give veterans opportunities about jobs. I mean, those aren't handing out tchotchkes under a tent.
So I think what I'm thinking of in terms of events is if the purpose is to get veterans together, then there are things that we could be doing as a commission to get veterans together, like softball games, or I mean, like police and firefighters do their tournaments and stuff, right? And that's to raise money and etc. So what if we had a veteran thing where
I got one for you.
Yeah.
July 4th. We're having a July 4th celebration downtown. We're going to have all kinds of games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tug of war.
Yeah.
Marines against the Navy, Army against the Navy, whatever.
Active military against veterans. I feel like veterans are going to have more weight behind them. That might not be fair.
Yeah, no.
Oh, man.
I was going to say.
But
anyway,
so
you can have
body shaming is not appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. I don't resemble that, I hope, but anyway, but there, okay, so great. I mean, we're planning on having the firefighters and the policemen doing a tug of war.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually going to have it where, you know, people can sign up and do the tug of war, but let's get some veterans groups or whatever to try to do that. So we need to start pushing that. Now, of course, Sean knows that if it's better than anybody, we may not be doing a 4th of July, but we're planning on it. That's it's being planned by the chamber. So we need to be involved in that. However, I just want to go back to what was been said. We can do events, but what's the purpose of the events? To get the veterans together. Great. We get them together to do what? First off, if we have coffee klatches and just get them talking with each other and get them out of their houses and doing things, that's great. But we also need to go out and do a little bit further than that. We want to make sure that in our minds, we're looking at mentorship programs. We're looking at community service stuff that the veterans can help with and get them involved in the community and get them, you know, get them active, especially some of them that are suffering a little bit from PTSD and are sitting in their houses doing nothing. That doesn't help them. We need to get them out and get them active and help with that. So that's kind of one of our purposes of getting the veterans together. And that's
just
what we need
outreach, and also just to make sure that they have the tools necessary to access all the services.
Exactly. That was the third stool. That was the third leg of the stool. So the first one was to get them active in the community. The other one was to help them get services. And the third one, or the first one or whatever, was to get them better jobs or businesses started or whatever, to get the community to understand how valuable veterans are to the community. That was our three stools, 3 legs of the stool. Isn't that right, Kurt?
Yeah, it was engagement, it was providing services or directing them to services, and then it was really, as you say, the crosswalk from transition services into the civilian world. And that's not necessarily just getting a job, that's coming back into society and having your neighbors understand that you're not broken.
Right. So the coffee clutch was designed to get them together, start talking. And then as we go through the coffee clutch and stuff, we could get them to understand, hey, there's some great things you can come out here and help us do, community events or community service. And, find a couple of leaders out of there that maybe want to help with some mentoring of some kids that need some help, that kind of thing, or even mentoring with some adults that need some help, helping each other. All those kinds of things is what we're looking. That's what the commission is actually supposed to. That's our purpose. However we do that is up to us. I just don't want to lose sight of what the purpose was.
So I like maybe once a year. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, go.
Maybe Kim and Chair, once a year that we just, it can be in January or whenever our fiscal, we decide our year-to-year dates are, is that's how we start the first meeting of the year is, hey, this is why we were formed and this is what our purpose is. And then just periodically have these conversations. This is great. Because really the difference between this and other boards and commissions, and Kim talked to it, the Planning Commission, the Arts, the other ones, they have their agenda set for them, and it's given to them by staff and the policy goals of the city, and then they give their input, and they're the citizen advisory groups. This is not that. This is a worker group to be imaginative and work, and that can be hard. And I think that's part of predictably, this has been part of our struggle, is we're not necessarily used to that because we are a little bit autonomous, yet we're still part of the city. And so we have the ability and the mission in our charter to take the clay and make and sculpt whatever it is we want.
Carmen, can I share screen really quick with the commission?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I just wanted to show you guys what's on the website now, which I don't know how much you guys look at this, but I think it has some good words. Commission is intended to educate the community on veterans' rights and needs, recognize veterans' contributions to the community, stimulate awareness of their potential, review, identify, and expand services available to veterans, and promote collaborations between service providers, employers, and veterans. So that gives you, I think those are great words, gives a good start at least. Maybe we want to look at that and revise it, but gives you something to think about.
Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too quiet. Okay, so what I'm thinking, the events are going to be, the events that we come up with that veterans can participate in need to be something that they would enjoy doing. And I don't think there's any limit to what we could come up with that would be relatively inexpensive or free. It could be things that we're just doing a get together or something at Lundeen Park. That's a Veteran Appreciation Day. I'm sure Costco or Safeway would donate things. We can have our table out there that says these are other things that we can support you with. If you need assistance in certain areas, we can have those materials available. That would be super simple. But we're getting people out to do something fun so that if something serious is happening in their lives, they have those resources available at that event. I feel like if we're just going to events for the sake of putting up a table to hand out information, like at other people's events, that's not going to be good enough. We need to be proactive and do something that's fun to get veterans participating. Now, I don't know what that would look like because I don't know that, older population is going to be up for, a softball game or a football game or something, but I'm sure there are plenty of things that we can come up with. A veterans fishing derby, for instance. I know a great company in Everett that I think actually used to do something here in Lake Stevens before it kind of went away a couple years ago. Maybe you guys that have lived here a long time know who I'm talking about or what I'm talking about, but that might be something that would engage a more diverse veteran population as well. I don't know. I'm just talking because it was quiet and these are things that are coming to my head, but if that's sparking anything with you, share it.
So
I'm thinking a barbecue of some sort.
So I think kind of getting to what Kevin was talking about, I think the events and what we're doing are fine. The problem that we were coming across is that we are coming up with all of these great ideas, but none of them are really coming to fruition. We just kind of keep talking about the ideas and talking about the ideas and talking about the ideas, but we weren't actually making the ideas happen. And so that's why we had decided, all right, here are the 2 things that we are going to focus on to make happen. When those things have happened, then we'll move on to the next things to make sure that they happen. I think that was what Kevin was trying to get at, is that this has been a commission with great ideas, but there's been very few things that have happened out of those ideas other than like Veterans Day, not parades, what are they? The like assemblies and some smaller things. I think we come up with great ideas and we can keep going with those ideas. It's just that we have to be able to put those ideas into action and make them happen. So we started out with the coffee clash, which is great. And I think we were going to stick to like the 2 things. Here's 2 things that we've identified we want to work on. Let's make those 2 things happen and then move on to the next. So we've got the coffee clash that's been happening. Then we had the job fair. And then we move on to that next topic that we can start moving. Since we've got the coffee clash going, now we need to focus on the job fair and whatever other thing that we want to work on. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but I think that's kind of what he was getting at.
Yeah, and that's just my nature, is more like I like to see us actually do this stuff. It's great to have these ideas, and there's a lot of good ideas, but I feel like we've kind of cycled that a couple times now as a group over the past year and a half, right? And so, yeah, I'd feel good if we picked what it was we were going to do and figured out who was going to do what and when, and made it real.
So I think we did a good job a couple of months ago delegating certain people to head up certain ideas, but the issue has been COVID. If we're not allowed to get together and do stuff, then it doesn't matter what we plan. It really doesn't, because people aren't going to come to us and we can't go to them unless it's on a one-on-one basis, which is what the VSO is for. So I think we should use this time to brainstorm several ideas and then break those ideas down by people that are willing to put forth some effort into planning them. And then let's regroup and hash out what you came up with. It's a detailed plan, because eventually this is going to open up, and I don't want to wait to plan something and start then when we could have used all this time to get that ready, if that makes sense. But I also don't want to take on more than we're actually going to get done, because if it's overwhelming, then we're not likely to get as much done either. So what sounds reasonable, I guess, to everyone else? Because I do think Sam and Kevin are right. Like, we can't just spitball and spitball. There's got to be something put in place so that we can execute it when it's the time's right.
Well, if I'll go back to one of the earlier tasks that I had, and we had some initial success, but it hasn't gone anywhere since, is recognizing the veteran-owned or veteran-friendly businesses. So if we focus on the veterans-owned businesses, the template for the award that we did for the recognition certificate is at Alexander Printing. If someone can get me access to those veteran-owned businesses, we can go there and get those things made.
Pineapple Express, there's your first one. Pineapple Express. There's your first one. Jaron Hughes, a veteran. He could be the next recipient.
I think this is just as easy as going out to the Lake Stevens community page on Facebook and say, hey, veteran-owned businesses, drop your name here, or if you know one, drop their name here. It starts something. There's a lot of bad information out there, but there's a lot of good information in those community forums too that we could draw from.
So I'll jump in.
Do a search on that too, and it'll pop up a whole bunch of things. I made a list of veteran-owned businesses in Lake Stevens, and there is, if you just go into the Facebook group and type in veteran-owned, it will give you 100 posts of companies that are veteran-owned in Lake Stevens.
So if you want to send me that list, I'm happy to make some phone calls. Not really keen on just cold calling people off the telephone book, but I'm happy to make some calls. I wanted to talk about veteran-owned business recognition at some point. Wasn't really trying to fit it into the commission report to the city council, but I have one that I've been working on for a while, and I think we've kicked it around as a group of, and stop me if I'm getting us off track, but this business is 100 yards outside of the city line. So
That's okay. It's in our UGA.
no, it's not in our UGA. It's unincorporated. It's not part of a UGA though. It's south of it's by 32nd Street, right? So it's
the conversation we had when we made this. The mayor and I were adamant that if there was a nexus to Lake Stevens, we were going to support it.
Right. Yeah.
so that's what I wanted to get clear as a group. Or I mean, I approached this person. He would not mind, but I don't want to go forward with this and then sort of have the legs cut out from under it. So I just want to make sure there's a consensus that we're not going to hold fast to the city boundary.
Well, I agree with Kurt on that. If it's a nexus to Lake Stevens, I mean, basically 32nd Street those are Lake Stevens businesses. That's the way we look at them. I know they're not in our UGA. However, we do look at it that way. We're talking, don't go to Everett, don't go to Snohomish, don't go to Granite Falls. But, if they're right here around Lake Stevens and they're, like Kurt said, a nexus, and I think they're fair game.
Everybody else on board with that?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Just FYI, I posted on the Lake Stevens Mom and the Lake Stevens community page just a general, hey, anyone know any veteran-owned or veteran-friendly businesses? It's just a quick and easy, fast way to get some answers pretty quick. So those are up now.
Thank you.
And that nexus, I remember we had the conversation. It wasn't even it. I mean, if there is a Lake Stevens resident and they owned a business in Linwood,
that's different. Yeah, you're right.
Well, no, we were saying, hey, they're part of our community, even though
Exactly.
That's the nexus to Lake Stevens.
Right. Exactly.
They work in the 32nd story of the C-First building or whatever. I just dated myself, of the Columbia Tower, and you know what? They're Lake Stevens.
Right. Oh, Carmen, that means you could have been one that got a recognition.
Still could be.
Another time.
So Kurt, do we need to review that with the current mayor, do you think, or that's solid?
Those were the conversations we had as we were, no, this was part of the debate, or not debate, the conversation when we passed the ordinance. And Mayor Gailey was around, so I mean, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to, yeah, I mean, that's.
Well, no, I just want to avoid an embarrassing situation later, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think this is productive. So, Kevin, I will get you a list of all of the ones when I did my search in all the Lake Stevens community Facebook groups. I just typed in keyword veteran-owned and it pulled up so many posts. So I will send you all of the things that I found and then we can kind of build from there. I did talk to Pineapple Express. I know him personally, the owner, and he is a Marine vet. And I asked him if he would be okay if we nominated him for the veteran-owned business thing. And he was absolutely like, yeah, that'd be great. He thought that was
Cool.
kind of neat. So
And if anybody else has people they know, just send me an email with the name of the company and the name of the person, and a phone number would be nice, or however they like to be contacted, and I'll do it.
okay. Sounds good. Okay. Do we want to keep going more on the event stuff? Do we want to wrap that part of it up? Do we just want to add it as a topic for next time?
Keep it on next time for sure.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting a little long here, so I don't want to keep people if they've got things going on. Are we okay with going to the, oh no, that was it. Okay, so new business?
Sorry, did we ever, 'cause I know I missed the last meeting, did we ever get an update on, my necklace, the Purple Heart signs, and then did we ever get an update on, this is more toward Kelly, the polos?
So I have an update on the signs, and perfect timing, thanks. So the signs are here. My thought was it would be a good photo op for the newsletter to put a push on to get the signs, and maybe have the mayor and Carmen, you, and any of the council members that, you know, Sean, Kim, you guys can get a nice photo around one of the signs going up, and target getting it in the spring newsletter. So it hasn't happened yet, but I'm gonna start chasing Jill to help us make that happen.
Okay.
As far as the polos are concerned, so here's where I'm at after checking with some others. So you guys have a little bit of money that's in an account that was a grant that you guys got. Is it Bob Woodward grant? I'm trying to remember what the grant was called. So there's some money there that you could use for the polo shirts, or you guys could pay for the polo shirts on your own and keep them, or the city could buy the polo shirts, but you'd need to return them when you're not a commission member anymore. So that's kind of what I've got for the options. So if you want to try to use the grant money, I just need to make sure we can use it on that. I'm not familiar with it and what it was intended for. It's a few $100s, I think, or something is still in that account. I talked to our finance director. Or I'm happy to order them and you guys pay for them on your own and then just keep them. Or if the city buys them, they have to be city property. So it just means you need to return them when you're off the commission. So those are the options for the polo shirt. I'm happy to do whatever.
I'm happy to buy one.
I was gonna say, I want to keep mine.
Okay. I
I'm happy to buy one too, but can't I mean, if you had to return them, I think the city could surplus them.
They could surplus them, but that would take council action.
So,
Yeah, I know. And no other board or commission currently has
well, they don't do it, do they? They don't do shirts and stuff.
No, they don't do shirts. But we just decided that if this was something that they wanted to do, like Parks Board, I could see being interested in this, then it would have to be city property. But if you're all okay with paying for your own shirt, then I will have prices next week at the next meeting.
Do you want me to send you the same? Because there are a couple of styles that I had sent out that everyone was kind of good with. Do you want me to send you what those ones were?
Yeah, can you do that again? That would be great. And then I know we have some new members that we'll need to get sizes from. So, am I hearing from everybody that you want to buy your own shirt? There's enough of consensus? Yes? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, for Vern.
Okay, great. So May 3rd is our next meeting. I will bring the prices and the look of the shirt, and then I'll get some sizes from you guys and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Yep.
Great. Yeah, the only thing worse than returning it would be the poor person who comes on the board
I
after.
I know. It's the gift of public funds that we have to be careful with. I know it seems weird to return the shirt.
Oh, sorry. You're the messenger.
I know. It feels odd. But I'll bring those. I can't. It's not going to be a lot of money, I don't believe. We've got a great company we use, so. great. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. I've been meaning to mention that.
Okay, any other new business?
Just real quick. So Kevin, you were going to call Jill. You want me to tag team her with you? And
Yeah, if you want to call businesses and stuff, that would be great. Is that what you meant? Oh, Jill, for the sign thing.
signs, yeah.
Kurt, if you want to get involved in any of this, man, don't let me slow you down. So you tell me what, or am I misunderstanding you? Sorry.
How about we both call Jill this week?
Oh, you know, it doesn't take much to confuse me the older I get. And I am thoroughly confused at this point. I'll have to admit.
How about, Kevin, we both call Jill this week and say, hey, what about a work plan to get those signs up?
That sounds good.
All
That
right.
sounds good.
So I know the Public Works Director has made this a priority with his crew to get this done soon. So she's probably going to have to talk with Eric about when that's going to happen. But it should
Perfect.
be. Yeah.
We'll call him too if she does
Yeah.
to him.
You.
Excellent.
Thanks, Kurt. Sorry to be so slow.
No, that's okay.
Okay. Now any new business? No? Okay. Then should we review our upcoming agenda items for next month? Do we want to keep youth council on there?
I can always give an update. I mean, if you
Okay.
want an update on what youth, if we want to keep tabs on what the youth advisory council is and see where that's going to bring us on the same path, then that'd be great. And Sean and I and Steve will continuously guide them in using or getting along with the Veterans Commission or Veterans Foundation or both.
Okay, sounds good. Let's keep it. The scholarships, should we put that off for a little bit since next year will be the first year we'll be able to do it? Or do we want to tackle that next month with how to fill it out and all of that? Or
I think it could be held out for a while.
Okay. Coffee Clutch. Keep an ongoing discussion on that one.
Well, I don't know if it's a discussion or if we just want to maintain it going and see if we can get other people to participate. I know last month I couldn't participate, so there you go. And then I think along with that comes, when I think we decided to do or try to do the job fair in September or something like that, or October, or whatever it was last time.
Yeah, fall.
Yeah, so I think if we keep the coffee clutch, maybe we want to make a decision on when we're going to actually do it in person. We do have the mill reserved, so what do you think, Sean? When do you think we should try to do this in person?
Well,
We can do 50 people now, right?
We can, but again, it's who are the veterans most likely to show up to drink coffee? That's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Older population, probably.
I would say that some of us are probably in higher risk groups, and we probably shouldn't push those boundaries. It would probably look bad if the Veterans Commission ends up occupying a wing of Providence.
I think that even just in another month, and obviously, Sean, you know this, I've got my vaccine, and the more and more people are going to be getting their vaccines, and though that's not 100% thing, at least it's probably opening the doors to some more face-to-face distanced meetings. And I think the further we get out from there, the better.
Yeah, I don't want to get way deep in Samara and I obviously follow the disease in a lot more detail than most people want to. ever for the rest of their lives. But a lot of people getting vaccinated. You know, there isn't a point where there's less than 300,000 or so doses coming to the state in the next 3 weeks. That's been pretty consistent. There's almost 4 million people that have been they've received at least one vaccination. You know, it's happening. Unfortunately, because of the 40 and younger group, they're out there seeing phase 3 is phase 25 enrolling. And that's what really what's driving up the caseload, the case counts. The hospitalizations aren't necessarily getting anywhere near what they have been previously, but it just seems like it might be rushed to say in April, we're going to take advantage of the 50%. You know, May, possibly. We're talking about the 3rd week of May. We're talking about a solid 6 weeks away from now. So you're talking about nearly, if everything stays as normal, approaching 2 million doses of vaccine that would come into the state. Hopefully by then there's enough vaccine to start turning the trends down again. And hopefully we haven't moved back to phase 2. So I'd say hold for now.
Great.
A thought just popped into my head.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
could put a blurb into the senior center newsletter that goes out every month, because I know there's veterans up there.
I'd like to hear more about the VOA status and getting their program going in the area, and what, if anything, we could do to help that. With the American Legion all around us, some of those folks probably need the VOA and their facilities and their help. So we need to know more about it.
Okay, I'll get as much information about it as I can. The Community Resource Center is open. It's operating out of one of the churches right now. The VOA is operating it, but I can get all the information on that.
See, I hadn't even heard that, so that's
Yeah.
good.
I don't know what their hours of operation are or how it's going yet. I just know they're open. So I'll get the information and bring it to us.
You know, if we had more connections with our veteran community, you know, there would be a COVID opportunity there to try to establish a pop-up clinic to serve the veterans.
For the vaccine?
Yeah. Lots of other community groups have reached out through Department of Emergency Management, through some of their outreach activities, and a lot of these special populations are really being targeted as efforts to make sure that they're vaccinated. And even on base this weekend, actually at Naval Station Everett, if you could get on the base, they were actually vaccinating anyone who could get on base within the limits of their appointing system and access to vaccine. But they were vaccinating military dependents, retirees.
Good.
We should probably talk about the newsletter next month if we want to try to get one out, you know, late spring before the summer hits. Things that people want to see in it.
Yeah, we probably want to take and do how we might want to be involved in the 4th of July celebration. It is it's being actively planned right now by the chamber. There's going to be a lot of things going on. We're even trying to get a fireworks show going. So it seems that some of the fireworks companies have had a hard time of it, of course, because most of their stuff has been canceled, and there's a lot of things around us that have already been canceled for the 4th of July. So we have an opportunity to get the fireworks company that does Aquafest, because, you know, Aquafest has been canceled for 2021. So if we can get Wolverine in here to do a fireworks show, we're going to do that. It's pretty expensive, but we're going to try to get that sponsored by somebody. And then whatever we can do as a Veterans Commission, you know, to get veterans involved in the 4th of July celebration, that'd be great. Be nice to have a color guard or something like that from maybe the Legion, you know, that kind of thing. I forgot all about that, Vern. I need to reach out to you for a color guard.
That'd be great. I think we could do that. By then, we're planning a little memorial service for May 31, Memorial Day. It's outside. It's spaced out. People have masks.
Okay. Something else for the agenda.
Do we want to follow up with the signs? Do you
Yeah.
think we'll have an opportunity to get the sign thing done before then, or do you think we should add it?
Why don't we get a status update? Maybe Kurt will have great success, but I'll be the pessimistic.
Yeah, on the
Let's go for an update.
Hopefully I'll be able to report that the signs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get with Eric Urpo too at and see what his thoughts are on what his crews are going to be able to do. So I have a really good rapport with Eric. So let me get with Eric on that.
Yeah, and
also.
I have no doubt he'll get to it. He's going to get to it as soon as he can.
Yeah,
Maybe
those
with
guys. Yeah,
a
they're
little
busier
encouragement
now. So
from you and I.
it seems like when I ask for something, we usually get it pretty quick. So
Okay. Veteran Foundation, add that to the agenda.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. The commission report to City Council. Do we want to add that for next month too?
Just to circle back on that, Kim, I got the sense you were thinking we should do something sooner than the fall, not wait, right? To give them status of where we're at.
I think we should have something within a couple of months from now for our first report to them, just as a addition to the staff report. Certainly there's going to be 3 councilmen sitting there that are on the commission, so they can ask any questions they want if they do. A lot of times they don't, but so if we just have some kind of a written report that we want to tell them, hey, you know, we're alive, and here's what we're doing. And, you know, we can update them on the signs, and we can update them on this is the events we're going to and what we're trying to do, the coffee clutch or whatever else, you know, that we think is important to tell them. And we're still working on our business-owned or veteran-owned businesses, et cetera. So, and if that's all we're telling them, then that's great. At least they're going to remember we're there.
So I could put together some words and float them. You know, maybe we could do something with Kelly, with your help, to distribute it to people before the meeting so that people could make updates and we could review it at the next meeting if that is helpful.
It's a good start.
Yeah, Kevin, I think don't let the idea of reporting to the city council be an intimidating thought or, you know, or a confounding thought. You know, most staff reports are very simplistic. They open with some very basic background. This is where this topic came from. This is its origin story. Kind of what is it you're trying to accomplish in this? And then, you know, the closing out details and then any attachments that need to happen along with that. You know, if we're going to have the signs as part of that staff report, having those photographs to show what the signs look like, where they're going, a map that says this is where they're located. You know, those are all the kind of things that it's pretty straightforward. And there's tons of examples. You can look at any of the, if you go to the city webpage, you can look at any of the meeting agendas, and you can see a myriad of staff reports. And in general, they always follow that. There's an opening and kind of a closing.
Yep.
In this case, would say this is the direction the commission is going, and then the filler in between. That's
fine. Yeah, I'll put something together for us to, and you know, for people to mark up, and can take it from there.
Yeah, Sean's absolutely right. And Kevin, I'm happy to send you some templates and I'll show you what Park Board did and Planning Commission if it's helpful.
Yeah, if it's easy to do, that would be great. But if I know you got a lot going on, so if it's a big deal, like Sean says, I can easily go to the website and pull down some stuff. But if there's a template that other groups use, that would be wonderful.
It wouldn't take me long at all. It will save you a lot of time trying to open up a lot of documents. So, I mean, feel free to look at those other examples. That's a good idea, but I'll send you a template.
Yeah, I'm about up to like 1956 reviewing old meeting minutes, but I'd be happy to jump forward a few years.
Wow, you have a lot of time on your hands.
Wow.
Not anymore.
Okay, do we want to add anything else to our agenda list for next month?
I think that's plenty.
That's kind of a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, May 3rd, 7 o'clock.
Okay,
You need a motion to adjourn, Carmen?
yeah.
So moved.
Second,
Everyone,
I motion we adjourn.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed. I'm playing.
I'm so putting that in the minutes.
please do. Please do. It was.
That's going to be my thing. I think I'm just going to oppose closing meetings moving forward.
Yeah, remember when we put it in the minutes now, when we have an opposing vote, it has to be by name.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
okay. It's okay.
all right, opposed by Sean. Motion has passed.
Good night, all.
Guys, have a good
Aye.
Aye.
Take care.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.